One of the hottest headlines in the NFL right now is Deshaun Watson because his name is in the mix for potential trade and suitors. Right now, the Dolphins, the Panthers, I think even the Eagles and Washington are in the mix. But the two main teams are the Dolphins and the Panthers. And the Texans have told teams, you're going to have to match Miami's offer because Miami's offering you the most. Now, this is your opinion. This is what you think. Where do you want to see Deshaun Watson go? Carolina or Miami, or it can be another team of your choosing that's a realistic destination.
Well, first of all, I think the Eagles can match any offer Miami puts out there just because we have the picks, but that's a topic for another day. I want to see him in Carolina, me personally. I think that puts him at either Carolina or Denver. I'm going to lean Carolina, though, because I feel like those two teams they have the best team suited where they're just a QB away from being a contender in whatever conference. I feel like Carolina is a little better because they're younger. I think Denver's on defense, they're not old, but they're stars. Von Miller, Bryce Callahan, he's reaching that age. Kyle Fuller, he's about 28, 29, so he's up there. With Carolina, though, J.C. Horn is young. Brian Burns is young. Like this, Hassan Reddick is only like 26. Like this team
Jeremy Chin, young.
Yeah, this team is really, really young. Even on offense, DJ Moore is young. Robbie Anderson's about 27.
He's whatever.
CMC is 25. They're young. So this is a young team. And Deshaun Watson's 25. About 25, 26, so he's young. So you put him in a young system with these guys that he can grow with and he can get better with. And not to mention, they have two guys. DJ Moore is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. I feel like him and Robbie Anderson, they'll have a way better connection than Darnay Boy and Robbie. That would be great. I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Sutton are incredible too. Yeah. But I just think Carolina being young on both sides and being that they're just a QB away from being that good. And that division too. Like Denver has the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders. Why do you want to go fight with that when you can just go to a division that has the Bucks and the Saints? Once you get Deshaun, you're better than the Saints, in my opinion. And you're better than Atlanta by far. You just have to compete with Tampa. And I'm not saying they're better than Tampa, but you get Deshaun, that can put you in that conversation where now you can compete with Tampa. I would rather go there where in a situation like that, you got to see the Chiefs. Mahomes is going to be here. Herbert's going to be here. Derek Carr is still going to be here. Like, Tom Brady is not going to be here forever. Yeah. Matt Ryan's gone soon. So it's like, and Jameis Winston, you're better than him by far. So I think Carolina, don't do that. Like, I think Carolina is the better situation.
Number 1 overall pick.
Word. I think Carolina is the better situation. I like them. I like their team. I think Deshaun would thrive in that role.
I'll tell you what, you surprised me saying Denver, truthfully. You did, because you kind of ruined my whole big moment. Because my one thing on my notes here is just Denver, period.
I like Denver.
But I do think that Denver would be the best situation. We could offer 3 first-round picks. We could offer Bradley Chubb. It just gets tricky with the QB situation. That's where Miami has us beat, truthfully. But at the same time, Tua wouldn't even Tua wouldn't even go to Houston, apparently. If that trade were to be done, a third team would be involved.
I don't think Houston wants a quarterback back. I think they like Davis Mills, and that's why they don't want Tua.
Mr. Ostrich?
Which is interesting. Mills isn't bad, and he hasn't played terrible. He's had some terrible moments.
Start once he gets back. They said he's.
I like Tyrod Taylor a lot too.
Tyrod was pretty firm when he was playing, obviously, but health has always been a concern of his. But I am upset you chose Denver, or you even mentioned them at Carolina, all. Okay. No, I know, but you mentioned them. Yeah. But regardless, you look at Denver, obviously, our O-line's pretty solid. Our right side's our weakest point. But Deshaun's, one of his strengths, if not arguably his biggest strength, is his ability to roll to that side and make to extend plays, make things happen with his arm, obviously, make things happen with his legs. He's just one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league when it comes to scrambling outside the pocket. We have Cortland Sutton, we have Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant. Out of the backfield, we got Javonte Williams, who up-and-coming running back star, potential in the making. You can just see the way that he runs through the tackles, runs through guys, his shiftiness, his ability to not go down. He's a talented dude for sure. And we still got Melvin Gordon, who's a solid pass-catching running back too, who can do pretty much similar things to Javonte Williams. He's just a little bit more experienced. And you look at the defensive side of the ball, where we have struggled over these past few weeks, but it's due in part to our offense inability to stay on the field and kind of give them a breather. Our defense hasn't looked great, truthfully, and we let a bunch of backups cook us against the Browns. Wouldn't have really happened if we weren't having constant 3-and-outs the first 2 sets of the game. Run the ball, have Teddy throw the ball for 5 yards, which basically what he does because he's a check down quarterback. I mean, he's gotten us 3 wins this season, but at the same time, it's just not what you want in a franchise quarterback or a quarterback that's going to try and win you games, especially down the stretch against solid football teams. You can't just run the ball on and try and rely on that when that's not working. And then, okay, let's throw in Teddy and have Teddy make something happen for us. That's not going to work, especially because his trust in his deep ball isn't always there, even though his deep ball isn't terrible. He just has moments where he underthrows receivers like he did against the Browns when he gave up that bad interception in the red zone. But I just think that overall our defense would benefit from Deshaun because he would keep them on the field, allow them to get their breather. We still obviously have one of the best secondaries in the league. Surtain has made his mark on this league already. He's an amazing corner, potential top 10 easy cornerback in this league.
Better than Bryce Hall.
Without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt in my mind. And then you have Ronald Darby, Bryce Callahan. We're just stacked on so many ends secondary-wise. Obviously, Justin Simmons. Then our linebacking core, we probably have to get rid of Chubb, truthfully. And I'm not thinking too much about it, obviously, because we still got Von Miller. That'll be fine.
He's old as hell.
He's 31. That's not as hell. He's old for sure.
Past couple seasons.
Last season he was hurt. This season he's been firm. He did have that.
He's hurt right now, right?
I was going to say he had that bang up against the Browns, but I think he's going to be okay, truthfully.
That's good.
But I just think overall as a team, you mentioned about the competition standpoint too. Why not come into our division and show that you're better than Herbert, you're better than Mahomes, you're better than Derek Carr? You'd see them 2 times a year, and you'd be able to showcase that every single season. And especially with Deshaun, who is a competitive dude, I can see him wanting to do that and challenge those guys for sure. But in terms of schedule-wise, fair enough. Carolina obviously would face a Saints team that has been on, or not, I wouldn't say a decline because they're winning games, but they're not the teams that they were in the past. Buccaneers are firm, but how many more seasons is Tom Brady going to be there? Deshaun's a young quarterback. What do you think, 55?
He said he wants to play to 50.
That's
He's
crazy.
Insane to me.
But regardless of that, Deshaun's 25 years old. He could play till he's 36, 37, 38. Just depends on, whether he stays healthy. He's a mobile quarterback. Those are obviously more at risk to get injured. But I just think Denver as a whole, we become immediate Super Bowl contenders. We're a quarterback away. We've been a quarterback away. Deshaun immediately makes us that.
I don't want to
Deshaun
see.
is better than Carr. He doesn't need to show that. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, no. I mean, he's better than Herbert.
Yeah,
in my opinion, talent-wise, he's better than Mahomes. He would show that against them.
Continue with your
I don't know if
that was crazy.
I don't know if Herbert is such a gimme.
It's not a gimme.
Yeah, but
it's not a gimme, but I just think we've had
lost
this
me.
conversation. I think in terms of what Deshaun brings to the table on the football field, of course, his arm is perfect. His vision is perfect. His ability to read defenses is borderline perfect. His ability to extend plays is perfect. What more do I really want from a quarterback, truthfully?
So you think talent-wise, Watson's better than Mahomes?
I think Watson, in my opinion, talent-wise, is the best quarterback in football.
Okay. So
That's high praise.
the Panthers and the Dolphins, they both suck. They're not good teams. And the Panthers early in the season, they started out 3-0, but they faced teams that weren't good.
Yep.
The Jets and who else did they face? The Jets, the Saints, when half the coaching staff was missing. Did they beat Denver or no?
They did beat Denver.
They beat Denver?
No, wait,
they didn't play us.
And they beat
They played the Jets, they played the Saints, they played the Texans.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, then they faced the Cowboys. They lost the Eagles. They shouldn't have.
Oh, they didn't play you guys.
Yeah, no.
I could have sworn they played you guys.
Nope.
But they started out 3-0, and they fell off. And there is this false narrative out there that the Panthers' defense is good, and they're elite because they started out so good. You look at the stats right now, it showcases that the Panthers are a very great defense. They're the 7th-ranked defense currently right now, but they have lost 4 straight to Dallas, Philly, Minnesota, and New York. And if you look at those 4 games, in the first 3 games when they started out 3-0, opponents averaged 10 points per game on them. The last 4 games, opponents have averaged 29 points per game, which is tied 27th with the Chiefs and Texans. And Dallas is a great team. Philly is an okay team. Minnesota is a good team. New York is an okay team. So the Panthers gave up a bunch of points to the Giants, Philly. Dallas and Minnesota is acceptable. But you're telling me once you face good competition, your defense falls off on a cliff. I understand that the injuries are there, but Brian Burns is still playing.
Yep.
Hassan Reddick is still playing.
Yep.
AJ Boye is still playing. Dante Jackson is still playing. Jeremy Chin is still playing. They have all of their guys. Hopefully Stephon Gilmore saves them. The Panthers' offensive line is god-awful. Their receivers outside of DJ Moore are not very good. Their tight end is not very good. The running back, because CMC's not there, not very good. the Panthers aren't this glamorous situation everybody thinks that they are, even though the jerseys are the coolest in the NFL. As a team, they're not glamorous. In the Dolphins, I was skeptical about their defense last season because they didn't let opponents score, but they let opponents get a shit ton of yards. And now this year, they're letting opponents get a shit ton of yards, but now they're converting it into points. Yep. So now they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I think the Dolphins have better weapons than the Panthers because of Waddle, because of Parker, because of Gesicki, because of Preston Williams and Will Fuller, and Myles Gaskin. Now that CMC's out, yeah, he's the better running back out of him and Chuba Hubbard. My sleeper team
CMC? He's coming back soon.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, when though?
Nah, but that's a tough.
I think the Panthers are running him to the ground right now.
Yeah, it's tough though. But
I think if they get Deshaun, they don't need to.
I don't want Deshaun to go to Carolina. I don't want him to go to Miami. I want him to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a roster in place for Deshaun to win now. Receivers in place for him to have success right away. And their defense isn't fake good. It is good. It's not like Carolina. They're pretenders.
Yep.
The Steelers have a great defense. And yeah, their offensive line isn't good, but Deshaun Watson's been playing with a bad offensive line since he got into the NFL. It's not that big of a deal. I want to see him go to Pittsburgh because I think they are legitimately a quarterback away and an average offensive line away from being a top team in the AFC, and he could be Ben Roethlisberger's replacement.
I'm not opposed to it either. Deontay Johnson, obviously. Claypool, obviously. Juju's on a 1-year deal. I don't know what happens. They bring him back
Juju's
again.
injured for this season.
Oh, you're right.
James Washington is there.
Out. James Robinson, he has the talent, James Washington, does have the talent to be a solid wide receiver, just hasn't had the opportunity up until this point. I think he's a free agent also as well at the end of this year.
And a tight end, Pat Freiermuth. I like him.
He has some good moments too, but obviously the big name that we haven't mentioned, Najee Harris, and his ability to catch balls out of the backfield, his ability to just have the ball in his hands and carry it, whatever you need Najee Harris to do, he will do it for that team.
And I know that Pittsburgh isn't a realistic option, but I think if Deshaun goes to Carolina or Miami, he's going to waste his career the same way he would have done in Houston.
He still does have a no trade clause, so he's going to have to let them know whether he wants to go there or not. He has said he doesn't want to go to Carolina. He doesn't want to go to these other teams. The one team that is firm that he would go to is Miami.
They have a lot of masseuses there.
And believe it or not, that's unfortunate.
That's a crazy joke.
Yeah, that's strong. Another team that he said that he's interested in going to is Denver. That's really the only two teams that he's really come out and said that he wouldn't mind coming is Miami and Denver.
Yeah.
That's interesting because obviously the no trade clause makes things harder. And Miami.
I hope he comes to Philly.
Miami for weapons.
I think he already said he doesn't want to go to Philly.
I don't know, bro.
Philly isn't it, man.
What do you?
They're not it.
Bro, stop.
Weapons wise, they don't even come anywhere near Miami, Carolina, us. So their defense is bad too.
Our defense
their rush defense is solid.
Our defense is bad because we get off the field easily, and we're not running.
Very good point.
We're not running the proper scheme for our boys up front. But at the same time, you don't have anything like we have our pick, Miami's pick, and Colts.
I mean, we still have all of our picks, and we're terrible. We easily could.
But we have our pick and Miami's pick,
dude. After losing to the Browns B team, C team, maybe I wouldn't put it past us if we didn't win another game this year. Our pick's going to be amazing.
Yeah, your pick. Our pick's going to be amazing, and Miami's pick.
That's a fact. You do have two great picks.
And we give him Jalen Hurts.
So, JC, where do you want to see Deshaun Watson?
I kind of agree with Rivs. I like that Carolina. I like the Carolina pairing. I mean, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson are good. I don't really know how much longer Robbie Anderson is going to be there. I heard that he doesn't really like playing with Sam Darnold. I mean, I've read a report.
Deshaun.
Deshaun Watson is definitely.
If Deshaun Watson goes to Carolina, he's going to revive Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson is not good right now because he's never been good with Sam Darnold.
I wouldn't say never. He was all right in New York.
Because Sam had to force feed him. That was the only receiver there.
His best season came with Josh McCown, who was like 39 years old, but like he was even more accurate than Sam Darnold. I remember that.
And Robbie Anderson, he threw shots at Sam when he got to Carolina because I think in his first couple of games, Robbie was doing really good. And then somebody replied, "It's nice to finally have a quarterback that
he
doesn't overthrow
screenshotted
you."
it. I mean,
and
no, he
I think
retweeted
he
it.
liked it and
Yo,
retweeted it and
Well,
quoted it.
can I ask you
He's probably
something?
miserable as hell.
Sam
when he goes out
Darnold
there.
and Robbie Anderson haven't connected since the Jets. That deep passing against the Jets. That was the only time this season that they connected.
For a touchdown. Yes.
Are
but
you
for
serious
everything
against
else-
the Jets?
Yeah.
Oh my God.